Hello world, Stefan of Landrigan Games here. If you play the game and manage to have some fun, come on over to the Landrigan Games Discord. Also, if you want to help this game get made, any and all Patreon support is greatly appreciated. As of January 24th, 2023, the game is, for the most part, running as well now as it did before I started restructuring things. I still need to track down some bugs, but the restructuring is now firmly in the polish stage and past the exasperating phase of trying to figure out what needs to be switched with what else. On another optimistic note, I've started converting the new art into game assets. Part of the reason for it is simply to track down any missing pieces. As for the progress on the new art, it is also on the home stretch. I'm aware that I haven't mentioned the art reworking in at least half a year. When the YouTuber Big Fry transitioned from solely covering games to also making one, he said preferring to not deal with screechers is a completely understandable reason to keep things under wraps while developing a game. As for me, I keep a lot of my cards close to my chest because I expect all of my investments to die for reasons I'll never be able to prevent. That life issues hasn't stripped me of artist number 3, like they had 1 and 2, is actually a bit bizarre for me, and I don't know what to make of it now that I brought it up. Getting back to the original thread though, the reworked art is reaching a minimum viable product. It won't have any of the dwarf species, nor will it have animal faces, but it will have enough visuals to recreate the game in a perfectly playable state. That brings me to a second point of showing off the next build. The placeholder art will also be available, and with that the dwarf species and the animal faces in their very basic form. Part of the aim of Dungeons under Gannar is to show inside a roguelike visually what would otherwise happen in just text, and I concluded that modular visuals are the only kind of visuals with any hope of keeping up with everything that can happen. Thus, with modularity already necessarily part of the core ethos, I've let it become the majority part, and with more and more aspects inside the game, I've worked on making them easier to change. Another inspiration is Mod Organizer. For those who don't know, Mod Organizer handles mods by holding them separately from the game and from each other. It means that the mods in the game are all taking up their full space, and that Mod Organizer freely risks bloating up hard drive space. That brings us back to why both art styles will be available together. I've been working on making the game handle varying amounts of art assets, not only because of the current situation, but also because every amount that every artist brings will be variable. My decision for that has become to provide the artist a way of telling the game what visuals are available, and then the game can sort out how to work with what it then has. In conclusion, we are within measurable distance of reaching the next build. As long as none of the upcoming issues are completely Gordian knots, I'm guessing about 2 weeks.